With the NFL draft and free agency in the books, I couldn't wait to get a look at the new team in Madden, so I loaded up the mod with the new rosters and jumped right into a matchup with our NFC South rivals. And as I was looking at this roster, it's hard not to see the potential for something special with this franchise. We're going to break down why this team is a problem for the rest of the league, why the front office finally stopped playing checkers, and the real story behind this QB room. Let's get into it. First off, can we talk about the brains of the operation? Because for the first time in forever, the Falcons actually have an adult in the room. Matt Ryan being back as president of football ops. My first thought was that it may have been a PR stunt, but the more time I spent on it, the more sense it made. Having Matty Ice back in the fold, overseeing the organization, that's how you get that winning DNA back. But the real MVP is Ian Cunningham. The man is a literal wizard. He didn't just make picks, he built a foundation, and then you bring in Kevin Stefanski. Say what you want about what happened in Cleveland, but the guy is a tactical genius. He brought Bill Callahan with him to fix this O-line, and if you know anything about football, you know Callahan turns mid-tier linemen into all pros. But back to Cunningham for a second. If you aren't a salary cap nerd or a draft junkie, you might not realize just how massive this hire was for Atlanta. Before he got here in January, the Falcons front office felt like it was stuck in 2015. We were overpaying for past performance and hoping for miracles. But Ian comes from the school of winners. He spent 9 years in Baltimore learning the Ravens way. He was in Philly when they built that Super Bowl roster, and he was the right-hand man in Chicago when they flipped that franchise around. The guy doesn't just pick players, he builds systems. The first thing you have to love about the job he's done is the alignment. For years, it felt like the GM was drafting guys the coach didn't know how to use. But Ian, Matt Ryan, and Kevin Stefanski are essentially one brain right now. Look at what he did in free agency. He didn't go out and sign one superstar to a $100 million contract that kills the cap for 5 years. Instead, he went for the Moneyball approach. He signed Tua on a 1-year prove-it deal that's low risk, and also Brian Robinson Jr. and Azeez Ojulari on 1-year flyers. Those are high upside plays to name a few. Ian is out here playing 4D chess. He's filling every single hole with high upside veterans on short deals so that when the draft rolls around, he doesn't have to reach for a position of need. He can just take the best players available. And speaking of the draft, can we talk about the Terrell strategy? Most GMs would be scared to draft a star player's brother because of the distraction or the pressure, but Ian leaned into it. He saw that Avian Terrell wasn't just AJ's brother. He was the missing piece of the secondary. He also likes to stock draft picks. He's gone on record saying he hated having only 5 picks. He's the guy who will trade back, grab 2 extra 4th rounders, and turn them into potential starters like Kendall Daniels or Harold Perkins Jr. He understands that the draft is a lottery. The more tickets you have, the better your chances. But the biggest W for Cunningham so far, Zachariah Branch. Pulling one of the most electric players in the draft at pick 79, that's a robbery. That's the kind of move that turns a rebuild into a contender overnight. If you haven't seen the highlights of Zachariah Branch, stop this video right now and go look. This might actually be the steal of the draft. He's a don't blink or you will miss him type of talent. You put him in a lineup with Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson, defensive coordinators are going to have lots of restless nights scheming against this Falcons offense. Now, I need to talk about a move that I think is being criminally underrated, signing Jahan Dotson. This is the definition of a post-hype sleeper. Everyone looks at his last year in Philly and sees low numbers, but look at the context. He was stuck behind A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith in a run-heavy system. He was a ghost because he had no targets, not because he lost a step. Ian Cunningham was a genius for this. Dotson was a 16th overall pick for a reason. He has arguably the best hands in the league, and his route running is pure art. In Stefanski's timing-based offense, Dotson is the perfect security blanket for Tua. While defenses are terrified of Zachariah Branch's speed or Drake London's size, Jahan is going to live in that 10 to 15 yard intermediate range, but he's also got sub 4.4 speed to stretch the field. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the QB situation. I know most of the Falcons fan base is in the Michael Penix is the future camp, and I get it, the kid may be the future. But make no mistake, this is Tua's job to lose. Tua coming to Atlanta is the ultimate redemption arc. People forgot how elite this guy can be when he's in a system that actually protects him. Stefanski is going to have Tua playing the best football of his life. And I'm going to say something that I know Falcons fans are not all going to agree with. Tua should be the starting quarterback for this team. And before you click off, this is not me giving up on Michael Penix. It's actually the opposite. This is about putting the Falcons in the best position to win right now and setting Penix up to succeed long term. Because if you've been paying attention to interviews from the front office, the Falcons haven't committed to Penix as the starter. And that silence, that tells you more than anything they could say. Think about it. If the Falcons truly believed Penix was the guy, no questions asked, they would have said it already. They would have come out and made it clear. Hey, once he's healthy, he's our starter. Teams do that all the time when they're confident, but they didn't, and in the NFL, silence like that isn't accidental. Sometimes silence is the loudest answer you're going to get. It usually means we're not 100% sold yet. Now, this is the part people get wrong. Starting Tua is not giving up on Mike Penix, it's protecting him. Let's be honest, throwing him straight into a starting role right now, fresh off another ACL, that's a risk. Not just physically, but mentally. You're asking him to readjust to game speed, carry expectations, and lead a team that actually has playoff potential. That's a lot. If Penix sits for a bit, he gets to learn the system, watch defenses, adjust to the speed of the game, and most importantly, get fully healthy after multiple ACL surgeries. I think that's what's best for him. The worst thing you can do, throw him out there too early and then have to pull him. That kills confidence. That sets development back. We've seen that happen way too many times in this league. Now let's be real about Tua too. He's not perfect. There are concerns, durability, limitations outside the structure, and reliance on the system. But here's the thing, this Falcons team is built to minimize those weaknesses. With a good run game, a structured offense, and playmakers who can do the heavy lifting, you're not asking Tua to be Superman, you're asking him to play within the system. Bottom line is, the Falcons are trying to compete now. This isn't a rebuild roster anymore. This is a we can win games right now roster. And when that's the case, you must go with a guy who is ready now. Alright, let's pivot to the side of the ball that's actually going to keep us from having a heart attack every Sunday, the defense. For like a decade, we were the bend but don't break team, which really just meant bend until we lose in the fourth quarter. Not anymore. The smartest thing Kevin Stefanski did when he got hired, he didn't come in and try to be a hero. He looked at what Jeff Ulbrich did with this defense last year with 57 sacks and he said, yeah, I'm keeping that. Retaining Ulbrich was one of the biggest wins of the offseason. These players would run through a brick wall for that man, and now they've got the continuity to actually dominate. Jalen Walker and James Pierce Jr. are entering year 2, and let me tell you, the sophomore slump is not in their vocabulary. These aren't just prospects anymore, they're absolute problems. Pierce off the edge is a freak of nature. He's got that quick first step that makes tackles look like they're standing in quicksand, and Walker, he's the ultimate chess piece. You can stack him at linebacker or put his hand in the dirt. And a quick note for the future on the JPJ situation. As of the recording of this commentary, it appears that he will be available to the Falcons at some point this season, pending league review. So I'll leave it at that. Anyways, Ian saw what the defense did last season and wanted to add to it. He went out into the 2026 draft and got Kendall Daniels. He's 6'5", 240 pounds and moves like a safety. You put him in the slot to take away those tight ends or let him roam the secondary with Jesse Bates, it could be tough getting to completion. Then there's the Terrell brothers that I mentioned earlier. I still can't believe it happened. It's almost as if it was destined to happen. AJ is already a top 5 corner in this league. Now we've got his younger brother on the other side. Think about the chemistry there. You've got 2 brothers, both Clemson products, both Atlanta natives locking down the boundaries for their hometown team. And when you factor in 2 of the best safeties in the NFL with Xavier Watts and Jesse Bates, that's the real definition of a no-fly zone. Oh, and don't sleep on Harold Perkins Jr. People forgot about him because of the injuries, but we got him as a steal. If he's even 80% of what he was at LSU, our linebacker room is officially the scariest in the NFC South. Add in Jalen Walker and Divine Diablo, that's way too much speed for any offensive coordinator to handle. Bottom line, this defense is built to compete right now. We aren't waiting for these guys to develop. They're already there, so we've covered the front office masterclass from Ian Cunningham. We've talked about Matt Ryan coming home to fix the culture. We've looked at Tua's redemption arc, Jahan Dotson being the sneakiest signing of the year, and the Terrell brothers turning the secondary into a literal family business. But at the end of the day, you've got to ask yourself, why does this actually feel different? Because we've been disappointed before, right? We've seen the never-ending 28-3 jokes. That was a decade ago. Here's why it's not hype. It's the alignment. For the first time in my life, the GM, the president, and the head coach are all looking at the same map. Kevin Stefanski isn't out here trying to prove he's a genius. He's just out here to win, and he's got the horses to do it. Look at the NFC South right now. While the other teams in this division also improved during the draft, the Falcons still have an opening to win the division. We have the youngest, fastest, and most versatile core in the entire league. Between Zachariah Branch, Drake London, Bijan Robinson, and Jalen Walker, we have players that other teams have to game plan for weeks in advance. This next season isn't just about making the playoffs, it's about setting the tone for the next 5 years. It's about laying the foundation to compete for championships. And while there's no guarantee this happens next year, I can say without a doubt that this foundation is solid. The Dirty Birds aren't just back. It's time to put the league on notice. You heard it here first. I'm curious to get your thoughts on whether you also see the improvements in this team. Also, let me know who the best free agent pickup was, and who will have the biggest impact as a rookie. Drop me a comment below and let's talk about it. Anyways, folks, that's all the time I have for this one. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm signing off, and I'll see you in the next one.